I'm Gianna Monet, and we are here at the Global Esports Industry Week, where some of the top leaders in esports are meeting. Today we are here with Loren Gold, who is the Executive Vice President at Greater Raleigh CVB. Loren, could you tell me a little bit more about what intrigued you about esports?
Yeah, so for us, it's not been a short journey, it's been more of a long journey. We really started kind of working in the space intentionally back in 2018. So we undertook a 10-year tourism master plan. We call it a destination strategic plan for Wake County and the city of Raleigh. We have 12 municipalities within our county. Raleigh's the biggest, it's the capital city. And we also have an ecosystem that exists with esports, Epic Games. We've got upwards of 8 different game developers in our backyard. Endemic companies like Lenovo, their US headquarters is based in our backyard.
Nice.
IBM, Red Hat, so a lot of tech. The demographic fits for the gaming community, and we've got esports entities in our backyard. So we weren't doing a lot in the space. We were kind of reactive to the event opportunities, and the tourism study said, hey, you need to be more intentional. You need to build a proactive strategy. So we walked away from that saying, okay, what's the tactical strategy? What are we going to build? Our cheat code, if you will, was finding somebody locally that had been 20 years in the esports space, working previously for ESL, which is now EFG, but a local resident who had reached out to me. We formed a partnership and hired him as a consultant, a gentleman by the name of Ed Tomasi. So Ed helped with, I brought the destination piece, he brought the esports piece, and together we kind of combined forces to write our strategy. So we've had a great deal of success. We're going on year 7 of that engagement. So yeah, it's been a great journey, but it hasn't been, we didn't do it all in year 1.
Yeah, and then could you tell me a little bit more about the company, like how it started, how we got to this point?
So the Convention and Visitors Bureau, like many around the country, we're funded. Some are offshoots of chambers of commerce. We're funded through lodging tax and a portion of the food and beverage tax in our county. We operate as kind of a quasi-instrumentation of the city and the county, a little bit kind of as a nonprofit, but our entire charge and our mission is tourism-centric, bringing visitors to Wake County and Raleigh through meetings and conventions, sporting events, arts and cultural events, music festivals, and now esports.
Nice, neat, okay.
Staff of 35, $12.5 million operating budget.
Okay, and how long have you been working under the...
Oh gosh, next month will be 20 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, July
Congrats.
2005. Yeah, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
really cool.
Yeah.
And then you've had a great success in attracting major events.
Sure.
What is the strategy for cultivating a grassroots year-round esports ecosystem so the city is not just a host, but a genuine hub for talent and business?
Yeah, great question. A lot of things that we do are very partnership-centric, so we lead with kind of a partnership strategy. How can we work with a TO, an event host, a producer, or a publisher to really kind of build upon that one event but have successful events moving forward. That's really kind of the focus on the event side, and how do we get more immersive, how do we bring more of our local destination brand to life through gaming and esports. Again, I think I'd previously mentioned that our demographic is really strong in the 25 to 35-year-old age group. It's probably one of our leading demographics for visitation. So, again, being a cutting-edge destination, literally driven by technology companies, life science companies, advanced manufacturing, which is, robotic manufacturing, and clean tech. We've got, a lot of people that live in our destination that are highly educated, but they also like to have fun. They like to seek music and cultural events. They like to seek gaming and entertainment. So again, the strategy was really built around that initiative. And then we looked at it also through the lens of how do we elevate our destination brand by having some cool things going on, that skews towards a younger population. So that really was the big driver behind it, and then the ability to kind of sit down and really look at that lens. Now, the other collaborative piece that I think is super important for destinations, and I've said it today in my little 20-minute keynote, I've said it at other industry events, is how do you engage your community? How do you look at your full ecosystem? How do you look at, again, the local companies that are there, that are in the space? How do you look at the academic sector? So we have 2-year and 4-year academic institutions that play heavily in this space. They're either doing it through game development, game simulation, and academic curriculum. They're doing it through sports, Maybe they have a varsity team or a club team. And they're also doing it through student services. You know, this generation of students that are coming in, they want gaming centers or gaming lounges within the dorms. So many of our colleges and universities have positioned themselves that way.
Oh yeah.
Where we feel there's upside because of the companies that are in our backyard. A big part of the 2-year and 4-year institutions are that collaborative academic private sector partnership. And what are the jobs of tomorrow? And what are the jobs of tomorrow in esports? Whether it's production, game design, broadcasting or shoutcasting, event management. So we've really been able to get those 2-year and 4-year schools involved. So for instance, we hosted ESL1 last month, and we had literally students on site being paid to work alongside EFG, the producer.
Nice, yeah.
Rocket League's coming up this weekend, being produced by Blast. They're doing the same thing. They've reached out to the various schools and said, we want students that want to work, they'll be paid, and they're going to work in various areas. So I think that kind of lends credence to job creation and exposing young, talented adults to what the opportunities are. So super excited about that.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like it really plays into what you said previously about, you know, reading your population, seeing what people are into. And it's like you want to have fun, especially with the demographic that you have. And I feel like esports is perfect because you do have the younger audience who is very much into technology and video games. And so, you know, merging those two worlds and like bringing just different age groups in is very important as well. You know,
I think the other interesting thing that we've started to see as we've elevated our esports presence and just, you know, hosting events, professional championship events, we've also started to see some crossover opportunities. So I was describing earlier, Manchester City, the premier soccer league team, had a custom skin built by Epic for Fortnite.
Yeah.
They were playing a friendly in Chapel Hill, which is the next community over where University of North Carolina is based. And some of their players came to the NC State Esports Lab and took on the men's and women's collegiate team in Fortnite.
Oh, cool.
So we've started to see some really cool traditional sport mashups. The other one in Cary, North Carolina, where Epic's based, USA Baseball is based there. That's the national affiliate for collegiate and amateur baseball in the United States. They've started to do a collaborative partnership with Konami. Konami has a baseball title, a game. We're actually hosting the World Championships in November, and USA Baseball is a partner in that. Not going to be a big event with thousands in the crowd, but it'll be a big online streamed event that'll be followed. So we're starting to see that, and then even some of our music festivals and our cons. We host a big event called GalaxyCon. There are gaming and esports free play areas, and we're starting to see some movement around, can we bring competitions and start to have more of a kind of a mashup between various lifestyles, music, art, Comic-Cons, things like that. So we're building, those are the building blocks that we're really looking at.
I do think that's like cool too, that, you know, it's more than just us talking about esports. It's like, how do we gather all these different things that people are into and put it into like these spaces that people can like explore outside of like what they know. And I know like esports it's been around, but it's like growing rapidly.
Yes.
And so just hearing like how that plays along with other industries and other like different aspects is like really neat as well.
Yeah, and I do think, you know, there's been a lot of talk on site this week at the conference about the generational aspect, and we're now starting to age up. I'm older. I played on a Pong and an Atari 2600 back in the day, big time retro. But you know, I've got 3 kids that are in range from 30 to their early 20s that have gamed, and you know they've played a variety of titles. But you're now starting to go to these events, not unlike a sporting event or not unlike a concert, where you're seeing a parent with a child or a parent with an adult child or a younger parent with younger children. I fully expect that we'll see at Rocket League coming up this weekend families that come. We saw it when we hosted a Fortnite event 2 years back, you know, and then depending on the title, you're going to see more, you know, non-family, you know, maybe it's a Call of Duty event or a Counter-Strike event, something like that. So what I think is fascinating is to watch the communities that follow these events, and then how are those communities reflective in the fabric of what our community is, right? And how do we deliver to them experiences above and beyond the gameplay within the facility, whether it's the arena or the convention center, but what's going on in the town, food offerings, music offerings, art offerings. You know, we've got a couple of really cool kind of retro barcades that have sprung up. The gamers and those fans always find their way to those venues. You know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I feel like you've touched on a lot of the things that I was going to ask about,
Oh,
but
sorry.
you're good. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know I was going to ask, looking at the competitive landscapes of cities vying to become the next esports hub,
Right.
what do you believe is Raleigh's unique sustainable advantage that will keep you competitive over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we constantly are looking at measurement, beyond just room nights, and I think really the important thing is, again, what are the touch points beyond just a transactional strategy of room nights and impact to what are the partnership strategies around job creation, economic development, those partnerships with the academic institutions.
Right.
And the other thing that I think is extremely fascinating, for instance, this event coming up this weekend, Blast has agreed to allow us to run a 30-second spot throughout the entire broadcast every hour. It's more of a promo of the gaming lifestyle in Raleigh. So how many eyes are watching around the globe and tuning in to see that event, that maybe there's some motivation there to either come to the next esports event or to buy an airline ticket and just come to Raleigh. So we feel like there's a big upside in our tourism strategy just overall. So those are the things that we look at, and I do think that the opportunity moving forward for destinations is to really, again, take the time, show up, be intentional, show up to these events,
Right.
engage the thought leaders in the space, those that are publishers, producers, TOs, those that are educators, and really look at having a plan and how does that plan align to that market segment. We're not a tier 1 destination, so probably a little bit of our secret sauce is because we are so hands-on and so partnership oriented. When an event comes in, they're the event in the city. And we kind of roll out the red carpet, digital signage of the airport, street pole banners, window clings,
nice,
a lot of the downtown restaurants, bars, those retro barcades, they know that those events are coming and they attract that community there. So again, it's just really kind of having a plan, working the plan and sticking to the plan. It's not going to happen overnight for a destination. They've got to be intentional, because I think the community as a whole is a big global community, but it's a very small community. And I think they're going to know quickly when you're not authentic about it. So that's something we pride ourselves on, in the spirit of partnership, is being very authentic and being very leaning towards partnership. So
And as someone who does like to travel, I do find it very important that you mentioned that, because I do look for a space that's it feels like a tight-knit community, and it's also offering different things for me to do. So even listening to you, I'm I've never been, but I would love to attend these events and just see not just for esports, in general. And so it's very important that you're to be authentic. People can tell when you aren't, and so I do enjoy hearing that as well.
That's a really big thing in our space. The consumer, there's been a big shift. We're skewing younger. There are different habits and different again, things that the younger consumer wants to see and be a part of. One, authentic experiences. Two, sometimes kind of from a social fabric, what's the give back? One of the things that we've really been exploring is how do we collaborate with an event, and is there a free component to it? Whether it's a satellite event, because sometimes there's some barriers to access based on price point on these multi-day tickets, but we want to be, and those are things that our community and our community leaders are charging us with, to be, again, very intentional about it. How do we do maybe some immersive opportunities within schools? Really, kids understand gaming, but do kids really understand the full ecosystem of gaming and where there may be an entry point for them? So those are things that we're working on as well.
Neat. And then, what has been the biggest challenge in convincing local stakeholders and government bodies in North Carolina to invest in the infrastructure and resources needed to support the industry?
Again, it was a not a quick process. We had a lot of luck. There was some luck involved in our success as we lobbied the State House and were able to produce an esports production grant for publishers and producers. That was a game changer for us. The luck was that the person that we were lobbying was the then appropriations chair for the state of North Carolina. He was also a Call of Duty player.
Oh, neat.
So we got it. And what we asked for was an esports production grant that publishers and producers could apply for. So come and spend money, submit those monies through an auditing process through the Department of Commerce, and get 25% back.
Nice. Yeah.
So it became an incentive, and many of these events are bottom line driven to the economics of it. So that would be one thing. The other thing too that then appropriations chair was very instrumental on was how do we train for careers? How do we give one of the anchor institutions of the state of North Carolina, NC State University, a one-time appropriation to build a 15,000 square foot production facility that comes online in the fall of 26.
Nice.
So that's underway. That becomes, again, an opportunity for students to do real-world hands-on training, just like we do for life sciences and pharma, and they have clean labs that students train in, and they go out of college and go right to work for the pharma companies.
Nice, yeah.
The same process potentially for esports, and I think we can also parlay that venue into hosting studio competitions and things like that. So there's going to be some really great job shadowing opportunities.
Yeah.
So it took us a while to kind of break through the levels, and I don't want to put a negative spin on it from a bureaucracy standpoint, both of the academic and the state legislature side, but we got through it. We found the right people that were receptive to it. And the irony is, we kind of positioned it as we've got a motion picture film grant, well, why not an esports grant? It's a live broadcast. And they quickly, the lights went off and said, oh, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that Representative Jason Sain, who was our champion of this, when he was talking to a lot of the older elected leaders, it was as simple as saying, you've got grandchildren or nieces and nephews that play video games, right? And they're like, yes, and this is what this is about.
Right.
But it's about, again, the industry and producing the talent of tomorrow for that. So sometimes it's a little bit more challenging in destinations, more so than it was for us.
Yeah.
We were very fortunate that, we're a state that had done it before. We were a state for many, many decades founded on agriculture, tobacco, hogs, sweet potatoes.
There's a lot.
and textiles.
Yeah.
Old school textiles. Textiles went offshore. We weren't going to make it all in agriculture and hogs. It's still a very big part of our state.
Yeah.
But that was when Research Triangle Park was envisioned in the 50s to bring in tech, life sciences, talent, and really shift our economy.
Yeah.
Esports and gaming plays a role in that. They're a part of that segment. So I don't want to say it was an easy sell, but it wasn't as hard as probably some other destinations are having to work through. So yeah, that's an honest answer.
Yeah, I mean, it really hit like my next point. My next question was going to be like, where do you see the future of like Raleigh with esports?
Yeah.
What would you want it to look like?
Yeah, for us, again, as the organization that's really charged with a tourism strategy and bringing in that new money, right? Having residents show up to these events are great because it fulfills a quality of place initiative, right? You've moved to Raleigh, you're a gamer, you love to see gaming events or esports within our market. That's super important. The other things that we talked about, but from a visitation standpoint, what we're starting to see again is measurable data, looking at the incentives of what we give versus what we get. I'm highly fascinated on the live stream broadcast side of it. It's really cool to go to a live event and see the reaction of the fans in the community around that event. But I do believe there's some huge upside opportunity for us as a destination. If I was to go through traditional media buy channels to promote to people in Europe or Asia, that's big money. I'm probably not having to spend as much to put together a 30-second, game agnostic spot that really speaks to why Raleigh's a cool gaming community, and to be able to broadcast that on the back of 10.5 million hours of content that's watched around a competition. So there's an upside opportunity there. And then I think the other thing that's going to be really important is long term is, again, where's this convergence of gaming, esports, music, pop culture? How does that all kind of fuse together to really kind of support a destination brand strategy? So I think those are kind of the next steps of where we're going as we're trying to get more sophisticated around all of it. So
Of course, And then those were basically all my questions, but I do have one last one. It's very random. I just want to know if there is a game that you favored the most or that impacted you in any way.
It's funny. I do like Rocket League because, it's for an older guy, it's easier to follow. hugely fascinated by Dota 2. When I finally was able to kind of lock in that it's almost like gaming video chess with all the different pieces, it became a little bit more easier to follow. We've seen our fair share of first-person shooter events, Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, have all been through our market. I do like some of the sports titles too, you know, the Maddens, the NBA 2Ks, you know, the baseball titles and stuff like that. We are also starting to see some sim racing centers that are opening, so race simulation. I think for me, I love seeing the events because I love seeing the crowd and how they set up the event and the various images. I don't think I get as caught up in the game as I do what's the event management strategy behind the event, right?
Yeah.
Did we help them achieve what they wanted to achieve, not only from the broadcast, but from the live event? I will tell you though, we go retro every holiday season when we have a family full of, household full of family, it's 20 plus. We'll pop in the old Atari 2600 and go straight Centipede. And there's a lot of laughter, and everybody's laughing at how, you know, the graphics, the video graphics of Centipede. But yeah, you know, it's just fascinating to watch the evolution of it all. It's just, you know, it's the largest form of entertainment in the world now, which I don't think a lot of people appreciate or understand, but it's there. So I said earlier in my speech, 3 billion gamers can't be wrong. So, you know, what are we doing to continue to build upon that? So
well, thank you so much. That was all I had today. Is there anything that you want to add on? Or
no, I think we covered it all.
Thank you.
Thank you.